Hello, Red Wave. Welcome to Where Bulldogs Podcast. We're your hosts, Caleb Nail and Caleb Pletz. If you hear a bunch of noise going on, I'm sorry. The wife has date night, not with me, but with my sister and another friend. And so I have the little guy and Miss Rachel as babysitter tonight. So if you hear any of that, I'm sorry. But welcome in. Tonight, we're talking about Fresno State baseball as they defeated or took one out of the two against undefeated UC Irvine, smoked Columbia. We're going to talk about men's and women's basketball, kind of look back at the season and review. One's not technically done yet, but we're going to talk about it. And but before we get to all of that, I need to get to my friend, Mr. Pletz. How was the week, man?
Week was good. Had a nice gathering on Saturday to kind of prep for my son that's arriving here in sometime in the next 4 weeks. So got some friends together and got stocked up on diapers. So that was good. And it was a good weekend for Fresno State athletics too. So overall pretty strong. How about you? How was your week?
It was good. I was a terrible friend because one of my friends was having a little get together for having a baby boy soon, and I didn't make it. It's a really bad friend, but I do have lots of diapers for him though.
We'll take it.
I played Saturday morning. I played in a little basketball charity tournament up in Minarets, and we played 4 games in one day. I'm destroyed. It is. I haven't done that. I don't know if I did that in high school, Caleb. I don't know if I played 4 games in one day in high school. I played 3. 4 is insane. And I am like all chub now. No muscle. I'm just skin and fat and bones. That's all I am. And I hurt. I extremely hurt right now. I am determined to get back in shape, though. One of the games I played well, but I hate to say it was against a bunch of high schoolers. So the other games, like against guys maybe a little bit younger than me, but are pretty athletic, I struggled. But we made it through. We're here. No, I didn't turn an ankle. My knee didn't move any direction. I'm happy. My nose is straight. So I'm good. No, Bob, farm work doesn't, it should. Realistically, it should. But by the way, I did make a career change. So now I'm selling insurance. So I'm working on my license to sell insurance. I wasn't cutting it anymore. So yeah, so now I do sit at a desk. For the past 2 months, actually, I've been sitting at a desk just gaining chub.
But the odds are with that career change, your golf game is due to improve. So
dude, I'm praying to the good Lord above that my golf game improves. I haven't got to see a golf course yet. But that is the dream, right? That's the dream. The farm in no way whatsoever was ever going to get me to a golf course ever. Right. Money wise, it wasn't going to happen. So we did not sell the farm, but I'm sure you guys know if you're a farmer in California right now, it's tough. And the small family farms are struggling. So send a good word up to the man above for the Nail family farms because we could use it. But I say all that, but he's blessed us. I have an opportunity in insurance now, and the other siblings are taken care of as well. So we're doing well. And Fresno State had a great weekend. But like every week, we got to start with the bad news first, and then we'll end on a higher note. So and Bulldogs Bob talks about Measure E. So we could talk about that too. I think the last time we recorded, it was the day before we were going to vote. Mm-hmm. And then now today is our first recording since we've seen the results. So we'll talk Measure E and we'll talk basketball. Let's start with Measure E. We'll get politics out of the way first. Negative politics depends on who you are. I don't know. Measure E did not pass. So there will be no funding from the citizens due to a increase in tax in the county of Fresno. Whatever side you're on, that's what is happening. It's not going to happen. So now we have to look at where we're at now and what we're going to do. So I'm expecting sooner rather than later some plan to be released to the Red Wave about, okay, here's what we're going to do to get here. If this is what you guys want, you obviously didn't want to tax. So here's what we're going to do. And I expect the plan to be public. I don't think they want to make things public. I think they should be public. So, okay, what are your thoughts on all of this? I mean, we can't change it now.
Yeah, and especially, second time on the ballot and still failing, and I think this time was even worse in terms of the vote percentage. So, I'm not surprised. I think the Fresno County at its core, most of the time is not going to vote for an increase in taxation. So I'm not totally surprised there, but it is frustrating when we kind of had a possible path to a renovated Bulldog Stadium and all the proposed changes, like some cool changes to baseball and softball, and new locker rooms and stuff like that. So now we kind of have to simmer back down to reality that it's going to be farther away, I think, for all of these renovations to take place. But we have heard there was always a backup plan, and so even though Measure E was option number one, and that's what Terry Toomey and the administrative people were pushing, they claim to have a backup plan. So I guess at this point we just need to jack up the fees on Fresno State students because we're already done there. So that doesn't hurt us. So let's just get the current students to pay for it or something, because I have no idea where this money is going to come from. Our state apparently is in a big deficit too. So. And if it's a state university, I don't know if they're going to cough up a lot for renovating some aging facilities. So I don't know. Not a whole lot of direction there with that comment. But what are your thoughts on going forward?
Yeah, I'm just reading the comment section. I'm looking at what you said, Bob and Chris. So I'm thinking about different ways that okay, one, people complaining about increasing taxes, and then also complaining about Fresno State, right? A lot of things. You try to put people in a bubble, and then something like this comes around, and you can't put people in a bubble anymore because they're going every which direction about it. But I agree with Bob in the sense that there shouldn't be people complaining about Fresno State stuff and then voting no. I think I think now that it's happened, that no passed, we have to come together even more as a Redwood community to support Fresno State. This shouldn't be a divisive topic. Forget that it didn't pass, and in my opinion, we have to forget the people that voted no and voted yes. We all have to come together. We all live in this community, and we all understand that Saturday nights at former Bulldog Stadium is the greatest party in town, and it's a great way to bring all of Fresno County and people outside of Fresno County together. It brings money outside of Fresno County into not just Fresno County, but the university property. So we have to encourage people to band together and buy tickets, go to games. Just because you voted no doesn't mean you can't go to a game. If someone tells me no, well, great, buy season tickets. Not great, but buy season tickets. Let's go to a game, go to the baseball stadium. So I think we have to band together. But like you, outside of raising student fees, I don't know what they can really do rather than call Judge George and the Cars and Devontae Adams. Outside of those things, I really don't know what they can do. It's going to be a difficult task for them. I don't think so, but don't take my word for it. I don't think we're going to get relegated to a mid-major conference, you could say, like basketball-wise or FCS level. I don't think that anything like that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a lot harder for us to compete at a high level or please people. Last thing for me, I think there's going to have to be a renegotiation of deals done by the athletic department. We have done really poor business for stadium naming rights, Save Mart Center is a bad deal. I mean, we're just not making money. So I don't know if we can restructure deals, but Terry Toomey needs to sit down with his staff and say, okay, guys, we got to figure something out. And he may have to be the bad guy within closed doors and restructure some deals. And people may not like this when I say this. I did some research and I may be wrong. You may correct me on this, and someone in the chat, please correct me on this. But if we bring someone in we recruit a kid to come play sports for us, it's going to cost us, I think, anywhere between $12,000 and $15,000 to pay for that person to put them through scholarship. If we bring in an international student to our team, it's costing us over $30,000. So it's double. And the only reason I bring that up is because we have to be penny pinchers now. And I know we have great women's basketball players from Australia, and our tennis team is full of international students. But if you want to have the best opportunity to save money, there's an option. I mean, $15,000 is not much in the grand scheme of things. But if we're going to pinch pennies now, if we have to, there's one thing. And I said it, I know, but I never want to deny someone the opportunity to play sports at the collegiate level, but there is an option there. So I don't know, Caleb, what do you think?
Yeah, I think going forward, I'm kind of just focusing here on football. And I'm kind of thinking back to the NCAA football video game when you would go in to try to recruit players when you're building your dynasty at Fresno State. And so there's different important things that recruits are looking for when they're looking at potential universities to further their education. So facilities, Fresno State maybe average to below average, at least compared to Mountain West. Culture, I think, is very strong, and history very strong. So I think that helps for recruiting. I think what's going to be most important going forward is personnel, who is in charge of the football program. So I think that's almost going to be more important in the next couple of years, depending on what happens with Coach Tedford and his health, of whether he's going to be able to stick it out for another 2 or 3 years to, fulfill his contract, or if there's going to be another change. But if, the facilities are how they are, we're going to need a dynamic leader who's going to be able to overcome that and recruit. So I think that needs to be maybe even more important for, Terry Toomey looking forward and trying to, figure out who's going to be at the helm for football. Because I think if we have a dynamic leader who believes in the program and can continue to build the culture for Fresno State athletics, then I think that can overcome some of the deficiencies on the facility side, hopefully temporarily, and then keep promising kids that it'll happen in the future.
I think so. I agree with you. If I was choosing, and we've talked to a lot of kids, if I was choosing a school, the kids are choosing schools. The reason they choose schools is because of their relationship with the coaching staff. That's the main reason. And they say don't do that, but that's what happens. You're going to go to a school who you have a good relationship with, who, if they call Jadeveon Clowney and Jadeveon Clowney picks up and says, you should go play for this coach, you're probably going to go and play D-line for Fresno State and the coaching staff there. So I agree with you. Andy Zonneveld, what's going on, Andy? He says maybe a bond just for the football stadium. Yeah, maybe. I saw a lot of people commenting about, if it was just sports related, would it pass? But then you had the other crowd of, well, we don't want to support just sports. We want the academic side, like the nursing. Like a lot of it was I think like 75% on this was going to go to academics. Mm-hmm. So I do think it would be interesting to see, but I don't know how you would persuade a lot of voters. By the way, the last thing we talked about, numbers were down. I think it was like a little over 100,000 people showed up to vote. That's it. And all of, I think Fresno County could vote on Measure E. Only 100,000 people voted on Measure E. We have over 1 million people in Fresno County. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, I mean, whichever way it went, just the lack of people showing up to vote is nuts.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not It's not a primary, so I get it. But at the same time, we got to vote. All right. Let's go to basketball, Caleb. Moving on. We're going from one fun one to the next fun one. So Fresno State, we're going to talk men's and women's, by the way. The men's played their last regular season game in the Save Mart Center against Wyoming on Saturday. Final score, 86-47. We lost. It was awful, Caleb. It was bad. It was really bad. That is the worst loss by Fresno State basketball team in the Save Mart Center, I believe, ever.
And on senior night of all nights.
Yeah. We scored 17 points in the second half. 17. Our leading scorer was Jalen Weaver with 12. We shot 16 for 56 from the floor. That puts us, we shot 28.5% from the floor. We shot 5 for 16 from the 3-point line. We shot 55% from the free throw line. I mean, I don't need to be reading numbers off. I think we just need to be talking about this season in general. Dogs finished 11-20 overall, 4-14 in the Mountain West. We enter the Mountain West tournament as the 9 seed. And guess who we get to play? Wyoming. For a shot at Utah State, the number 1 seed. Utah
Who
State
the Dogs played really tough, a week and a half ago. So, I mean, I guess it's possible, but I can only imagine how, the guys in the locker room are feeling after just getting whooped on senior night and frankly getting embarrassed at home. So, and I don't know how much buy-in they're going to have with this coaching staff or what they can even say to try to fire them up rather than like, hey, let's go ruin someone else's season. Hopefully they care and they want to keep playing hard. But the team that just beat us by 39 points, I think they're probably going to know how to defend us. So it's looking like the end is near for the Justin Hudson era here. And hopefully for Paul Loeffler's sake it is. So that way we can move him on to baseball.
Yeah, the boys are not backing this coaching staff, and I don't blame them. It's bad. Okay, I know I hate to talk like this about Fresno State athletics, and just because I know I want to support the boys, but I think it might be over. I mean, there's a chance, but gosh, after a performance like that and what we know is going on, it's brutal. It's hard to watch. It honestly is. And to be honest, Caleb, I didn't watch the whole game. I didn't. I turned it off. And then I opened my phone to text messages from friends that said, "Mercy, Wyoming, mercy." And I knew it was bad once I saw that. So I would love for the boys to make a run, though, and prove everybody wrong. We talked about this last year. Just have some pride. Play for yourself and the boys next to you. That's what it's about. If there's no buy-in behind the coaching staff or the support group, do it for yourself and the boys next to you. So that's what I would like to see.
Or, I mean, if anything, at this point, last game of the season, time just for some selfish iso ball, like the little Isaiah Pope game. You need to put a highlight reel together for your transfer portal because I'm assuming a lot of these guys might be headed elsewhere. So if there's any game to go crazy, someone needs to take the shots and hopefully make them. So, I mean, I'd like to see Ducell do a little better than 2 for 10 from 3. But yeah, that's kind of what they have going for them. Get one last good game film out there, so that way you have your audition for next season.
Quincy Pondexter, number 1 on the list right now. There's a bunch of assistants out there. I don't know if he's actually. That's not official. I'm just saying that. But we've heard a ton about Quincy, and Quincy has just been laying a trail to Fresno State on social media, and he's not even hiding it. But anyways, so he's number 1. I think there's a couple assistants out there that are on our list as well. I'm curious. I'm curious about the Felton brothers. They've been assistants. One, I believe, is at New Mexico right now under Patino, and I have heard personally from boys on the team that from past teams and guys are on the team now that they really like those guys. So I'm curious just to see where that goes. I don't think there needs to be much talk about coaching right now, like the new coach, because it's all up in the air, and I have a feeling it's going to be Quincy Pondexter. I don't know, but I think it would be fun, and I think that would be a huge splash that we need. Anything else for men's basketball? I think you had something about men's basketball. You're going to look at just Coach Hutt's something with Coach Hutt.
Yeah, just looking at Coach Hutt's tenure. He's been here at Fresno State for 6 seasons now. So year number 1, really strong, 23-9. That's a strong season. And piggybacking on players left behind by Ronnie Terry, thankfully pre-transfer portal, with Braxton Huggins and Deshaun Taylor, 2 really strong players that carried that team that year. And I guess my question to you, Caleb, is what was your favorite Justin Hudson season? Because there's not a lot of strong ones. We had a 23-win season, and then 3 11-win seasons, and a 12-win season, and then the Orlando Robinson year with 23 wins also. So 23 was the highest win amount. So any Justin Hudson memories that stand out to you?
Actually, there was one. And it was O's year when we beat Santa Clara it was down in Mexico or Malibu, or we beat Santa Clara and won that little preseason tournament. I think that was my favorite part of the Hudson era. That's my most memorable. That first year with Terry's guys were pretty good as well. But yeah, most memorable is those first 2 games in that little pregame tournament with O. And I love the great thing about we've been doing this podcast, and I've gotten to know some of the boys, and they're such good kids. Like, I absolutely love them, and like they have an invite to come on here anytime they want, and they know that. And shoot, actually, I just hang out with them. There's a couple guys that I just hang out with. They're great guys, hard workers, and I wish the best for them, and they have great families. So I feel for them in that way. Like, they deserve something better. They deserved a little more support from staff, in my opinion, at Fresno State. So these past 2 years, even though they've really struggled, I've really enjoyed getting to know the kids there and supporting them. And that's what's kept me interested in the basketball season, is supporting those guys that I've gotten to know. So, memories. Yeah. The O's season was special. Orlando Robinson's season was special. I mean, we had an NBA player on the team and we still underperformed, but that beginning of the season was fun to watch. And, but I've really enjoyed getting to know the guys on the basketball team, and I hope to continue to do that. So it's because there needs to be some love for Fresno State basketball out there. You look around and it's not there. We'd love to be where the basketball team can go for some love and some support. So I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that's a good point, and why a lot of fans will be interested in the program is hopefully us and other people are able to actually introduce these players to to the fans and actually get some buy-in. And so yeah, I think that's a good answer.
Mm-hmm. See somebody from Louisiana in here. I remember the rivalry with La Tech. That was a crazy rivalry in Selland Arena. A couple buzzer beaters. Insane. We'd love for it to get back to something like that in Fresno. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Speaking into existence, man. Women's basketball played the number one seed, UNLV, number one seed in the Mountain West, UNLV today in the Mountain West tournament. We defeated Air Force yesterday and moved on, played UNLV. I got to watch the first quarter and almost the entire second quarter. They played 4 quarters. And the first quarter, we looked pretty good. We were in it. We mixed up our defenses. We didn't shoot that great, but defense looked good. We played tough. We didn't get any calls. But UNLV is legit. I don't remember the final score. It was like 83-35. And I missed the second half, so I didn't see it. But UNLV, oh my goodness, those girls are insane. Huge, one. They can jump really high and have jumpers, and they can shoot from deep. I don't know if anybody's going to beat that team. Our girls played tough, and I thought they played well the first quarter and then half of the second quarter. But it's a bummer to see the final score. 40 points after 30-point loss for the boys. Around a 30-point loss for the girls. But UNLV is legit, and there is a young team. We have a young girls team, 2 freshmen that play on this team that are very good. I don't know about Coach White's contract and where she is, but I really like how she recruits. I think she's a great recruiter, and there is a lot of potential for this women's basketball team. Caleb, do you have anything to say about the women's basketball team and what happened today?
It seemed like UNLV is going to be the runaway winner of at least for the Mountain West. So not really surprised, especially with them getting to play, at home in Las Vegas. So that has to be some sort of advantage. But yeah, just looking at Coach White, I saw on Twitter today, our friend that runs the sidelines account asked, what should Fresno State do with Coach White now that the season's over? And she's been there for 10 years, which it's gone by so fast. It seems like it was a lot sooner than that. But I don't know if there's anyone that could be doing a better job considering the budget constraints that Fresno State has. Obviously on the men's side, I can't imagine the women's side is any better. So, if she's bought in, and obviously, like you said, young team that she's able to develop, I think that's kind of where Fresno State needs to be as a basketball program. We need to be able to develop talent and hopefully get them to stick around and buy in. So, yeah, I think that it was definitely a better season than last year. I know last year was a really tough year for women's basketball. So hopefully they're building something, and they can get their good players to stick around and fight again next year.
It's another program that has a lot of history, and they usually do pretty well. Coach White's been to Mountain West championships with Fresno State. She came in, and that whole deal with the old previous coaching staffs really hurt the program. She kind of rebuilt it. She had Maddie Udi and another girl that actually left too, but brought in the Cavender twins, actually pulled the Cavender twins to Fresno, which actually I think really hurt the program. I don't know if this is true or not, but I could see it could be really hard in the locker room. We had our 2 best players in Maddie Udi and another girl. Sorry, I forget her name. They left. And then the Cavender twins were there for 1 year, and then they left. And then that's when we had last year. And so I think actually having the Cavender twins here actually kind of hurt the program. And now we're rebuilding from there. And she's done a great job of bringing in recruits and getting buy-in from the girls and developing. So, I like Coach White. I think she's doing a fine job, and I'm with you. I don't know who else could we go grab. I don't know. The Carruthers coach, she seems to be pretty good, but we're going to be just fine. I think in the basketball world. Give it 5 years for maybe 3 to 4 years for the boys. Give me 2 to 3 for the girls. Let these girls develop, and hopefully we can keep them, and we're going to be just fine. Mm-hmm. All right. Real quick, before we get to baseball, give a quick shout out to Madison Hutton. She won she won gold at Mountain West Indoor Track and Field, and senior Kaja Binns won bronze I'm trying to figure out in what event. Multis group. That's what it says. Somebody's gonna have to look it up. But I did want to throw a congratulations I saw to Madison Hutton and Caja Binns. They won some medals. They're put for track and field indoor Mountain West track and field championships. Okay, baseball, Caleb. Big week last week for baseball. Started off with Pacific on Tuesday. We're going way back because we record on Mondays. Pacific, we beat them in 10, 9-8. And we had a freshman from Visalia, JT. Can't remember if that was his name, but a freshman from Visalia, I believe he went to Mount Whitney, started the game. JT Guerrero. Okay, good. I was right there. He started the game. I think he went a little over 1 inning. But he got some work in there, so that's good. We ended up winning that game. Then we played Irvine on Thursday and Friday. The first game I got to watch. Of course, the Friday game I didn't get to watch, and that's the one we won. We won that second game 13-1. The first game we lose 13-4. I got to watch that, and just a crummy 1 inning. That was it. We pegged 3 batters in a row. I think Dixon had only pegged 1 batter all year. Then he pegged 3 in a row. And then it just got really bad from there. It was an 8-run inning, and we ended up losing 13-4. And hitting wise, not much happened that game. But the second game, we exploded, and we won 13-1. And Noah Beal pitched lights out. I know he had over 10 strikeouts.
He went 7 innings, 12 strikeouts, no walks, only 3 hits and 1 earned. So definitely a different performance from the Diamond Dogs Friday to Thursday with strong pitching, a strong defense, and Thursday with Dixon. Pitching was a little erratic, but also just kind of a weird defensive game. I know in that 4th inning, where they gave up a ton of runs. I mean, there was just a lot of, infield hits or throwing errors and just kind of uncharacteristic stuff that allowed the rally. Right, exactly. So definitely a different story on Friday with, the boys playing clean defensively and really strong performance from Noah Beal, who, we were questioning whether, he should be the guy, our number 2 starter. So he definitely made a statement here that he does have the stuff to compete against a really strong team. Irvine came in ranked 19th. I haven't checked this week's rankings to see where they were, but dealing the Animators their first loss of the year. So really strong performance from Beal and the offense keeping up too.
I think I saw they dropped to 24. I believe I could be wrong, but I thought I saw they dropped to 24. Either way, huge win. And I think they beat Columbia before they played us, like 32-2, something like that. Irvine did. Bulldogs Bob. He was at both games against UC Irvine. They had a sizable group of fans that were loud on Thursday, but very quiet on Friday. And you were sitting next to them in both games. That made Friday even better. Yeah, I enjoy seeing fans follow their team, and I enjoy watching fans follow their team and come to Fresno and lose even better. Bounce back was impressive. When we play at our best, like on Friday and at Fullerton, we can beat anybody. I agree. When our pitchers are on, you're not beating us because we're so good at the plate. Other than that one game against Irvine, we're so good at the plate. We're going to score runs. When Noah's pitching well and Dixon's pitching well and the rest of our staff and the bullpen are coming in, and I mean, it's really hard to beat us. And I think this 13-1 win Friday night is going to, make a lot of bandwagon fans, which I know my buddy Jake Saldati is not going to like this. And he's saying he should have jumped on the bandwagon earlier, but hey, Jake, I'm happy they're on now. We'll take them. Jump on now. right? Jump on now.
Oh yeah, it's still early. The Dogs still have just about all of their conference series coming up, so they definitely can use the additional fans in the stands. So, but yeah, a rare 4-game weekend stand for the Diamond Dogs, and no real problems with Columbia. I mean, really tough when you're giving up. I think in their second, I think they also played Irvine again and gave up like 25 runs in the second time they played them. So, I mean, you're giving up over 50 runs to the same team in 2 games. That's got to be tough for the morale. So, Dogs take care of business on Saturday, 8-5, with Jake Riding getting the start. So they kept Jack Anchor in his normal Sunday slot. So, good to see a performance out of Jake Riding, and he's kind of who we've been calling for to be, maybe that next starter up. And so good performance there, and strong performance from Aiden Cremarosa out of the bullpen, 3 shutout innings. So really strong performance there, and just kind of getting the job done, 8-5. And then
I only worry. Sorry, Caleb, I'll let you keep going. My only worry, Riding through 80 pitches in 5 innings. So if he gets that number down, and we're cooking. But and he did great, but just that's a high pitch count for 5 innings. Sorry, go ahead.
Definitely. Yeah, and then Sunday, another offensive explosion for the Dogs. Jack Anchor, not his sharpest that he's been earlier in the season, but well enough to earn his 4th victory on the year. So 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, struggled a little bit, but overall got enough to get it to the pin. Zach Statzer had a good week. I know he kind of struggled a little early on, but I think he had 3 appearances this week, and I don't think he gave up any runs. I think he threw about 5 innings total on the weekend. So really good performance from Zach, kind of sharpening up, because he was one of the bullpen workhorses last season, with just needing to eat up innings sometimes in these higher run games. So that was good to see, and just a big offensive explosion. I mean, biggest home run weekend by far for these guys. I know Pepe hit a couple. Bobby Blandford finally made an appearance. I think he hit 2 bombs on the weekend. So good to see the bats waking up, and especially as the weather's getting warmer, I feel like the offense is just going to get even more potent.
Yeah, huge. And we also, actually, before I get to that, I saw Gilbert asked about the rankings. We are currently ranked 2nd in the Mountain West behind New Mexico, just based off of Mountain West play. They're 3-0. We're 2-1 in Mountain West play. New Mexico's 10-6 overall. We're 11-4. I mean, Mountain West is typically a good conference for baseball. There's a few teams in there that are pretty good. So I don't want to take anybody lightly, but I mean, at the look at things right now, I mean, we're at the top, and we should be competing for a Mountain West title. And yeah, okay. The last thing about baseball is we swept the Mountain West awards. Huge. We won Freshman of the Week. We won Mountain West Pitcher of the Week, and we won Mountain West Player of the Week. Mountain West Player of the Week was Rocco Pepe. Pitcher was Noah Beal, and freshman was Schneider. So huge weekend for the boys on the diamond. I know Rocco Pepe had a video go his grand slam, kind of went viral on Twitter. Everybody was talking about it, and how he's got the coolest baseball name, which I think our team is just full of the best baseball names. Bobby Blandford, Bobby Barrels, Hopfy, Murph Gray, Rocco Pepe. Come on. Cremarosa. Come on. Yeah. And Bulldogs Bob says he actually thought Bobby would get Player of the Week. I don't know, Caleb. What did you think about the awards and us sweeping?
No surprise with Beal. Really strong performance, and against a really strong opponent too. So I'm assuming the Mountain West Conference took that into consideration, that it was against a ranked opponent, and gave them their first loss. So really good for Noah. And yeah, Rocco hit 7 for 15 on the weekend. And he's a funny player because he swings hard and swings hard early. So when he connects, it's just dangerous. So good to see his average come up a little bit. And Schneider, freshman, local kid too. I think he's from Bullard High. So he's the future of this program, and it's going to be tough for him to get appearances because I think he played third base in the Tuesday game at UOP, so it's going to be tough with Murph Gray in front of you. But he also DH'd one game, and when you're hitting 500 on a series, you're going to force the coaching staff to give you some more opportunities. So really like seeing that from the local freshman, kind of forcing his way into the lineup to get some at bats.
2 games. Wait, he played 2 games. So freshman of the week on 2 games. That's huge. We play Sac State tomorrow. We lost to Sac State earlier in the season. And so, like Cam says in the chat, Cam Smith here. What's up, Cam? Time to avenge the loss against Sac State. I agree. We better put this team away. And I think this past weekend was a huge confidence booster for the boys. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we get San Jose State. Well, we don't get them. We get to play San Jose State, but we're playing them in San Jose. San Jose, they had some good players last year. They typically have a decent baseball team.
Yeah, it should be competitive. Thankfully, the guy, remember McAdoo, who's their second baseman. I swear he didn't make an out when we played him or when we played San Jose. So thankfully he's gone, and I think a couple other their big hitters have moved on. So I think it's a little bit less daunting of a San Jose State team, but still tough competition. And like we keep saying, these conference games are really important. So the Dogs need to get at least 2 out of 3 here, just to keep towards the top of the conference rankings.
Yeah. Their COVID players are gone. Beautiful. Good to know. And he also adds, Bob does, it would not be surprising if we and Irvine are in the same regional. That would be fun. New Mexico, Cam believes New Mexico is our toughest Mountain West opponent this year. It looks like it's going to be that way this year. They look pretty good. But this team can do it. This team can do it. Fantasy footballers, I see you're here, but it doesn't pop up where I am. I'm going to have to pull it up. But thanks for being here. I'm on Twitter now, so re-comment again on Twitter, and I'll see it. Last but not least, Caleb, we got to get to our water polo update. The girls in the pool started conference play against Cal Baptist, and they weren't too kind to Cal Baptist. He put a whooping on them, 20-4. It was 7-1 at the end of the first quarter. We know this women's team is one of the best in the country. We're going to compete for a national title this year. They should play, or they should move smoothly through conference play, but you never want to take anybody lightly. But we smoked them. By the way, CBU girls had 23 shots, only 4 goals. Defense. We scored 20 off 31 shots. That's
a shooting percentage we can see in the Save Mart Center. That would be nice.
Yeah. Brooke Ochoa had 3, 4, 5 goals. There are so many goals on this sheet. I can't even read them all. We smoked CBU, and I'm really happy for our girls. Here we go. Just so everyone knows. Brooke Ochoa had 5 goals. Yeah, led the team with 5 goals. Perfect. And we can't. And we also played 3 goalies in that game, so everybody got in and is getting to develop a little bit. So that's great. Anything else, Gil, about water polo?
I have no other comments other than good to see we're kicking butt in the pool.
Cam Smith asked, when does postseason play begin for water polo? The Golden Coast Conference Championships, that's the conference that we're in for water polo, they begin April 26th, and they will be in Santa Clara. So April 26th, Golden Coast Conference Championships. Our next game in the pool is March 16th. That's Saturday in Fresno against San Diego State. So we play usually about one a week. We played last Saturday. We play this Saturday in San Diego State. Then we go to LA and play LMU. We get Cal, Irvine. We can beat another Irvine team. That would be great. Azusa Pacific, UOP, and Santa Clara. Those are the teams we play in the GCC. And then April 26th, we begin our postseason conference championship run. Bulldogs Bob says, biggest problem with New Mexico is playing at their stadium. At sea level, we are better by a large amount. That is the biggest problem with the Mountain West and playing baseball in the Mountain West. Everywhere you go, if you hit the ball, it's going far. So you really have to focus or really hope your pitchers are on that day. And you struggle a couple days pitching, and it could go south fast.
Yeah. Thankfully, baseball conference championship this season's at San Diego State. So usually a pretty pitcher-friendly park. So as long as the Dogs get there, should be relatively neutral field there to compete.
Thank goodness. Spring football starts this week. That's some big news. The boys are back lifting weights and learning the playbook. So that's exciting. They did release spring preview off the top of my head, Caleb. Hopefully I get this right. April 27th.
Sounds right.
Is that right? Okay. April 27th is going to be the spring preview. There is no baseball game the 27th. I checked, but there is a softball game. The softball team will be playing Colorado State. By the way, that's a sport we didn't talk about. I'll pull that up really quick. We cannot forget about softball. So spring preview, April 27th, put it in the calendars. Then we're going to the softball game afterwards. I think the softball game's at 2 that day. So could be cutting it close. I don't know when they start spring preview. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right. The one game that has happened was Rutgers, which was no, just kidding. We had the Bulldog Classic. So Friday they played Northridge. We won 3-2. Then we played San Diego. We won 8-5. This is softball. We beat San Diego in 5 innings for a second time, 10-2. And then on Monday, which was earlier today, we played Rutgers and we lost 10-1. Tough one there, all at home. But we took 3 out of the 4, so that's encouraging. Our next game is Friday, Saturday, Sunday this weekend in Reno. And we got a 3-game series there. So, girls are still going strong. They're 17-6 overall. We haven't played conference game, so we start conference play this week. So here we go. Now is the time to get fired up about conference play, and these are the games you want to win. Anything about softball, Caleb?
Yeah, this will be a good indicator of how good this team is. Non-conference. We don't really know a whole lot about these teams that the Diamond Dogs are taking on the softball field. But I did see that the Nevada pitcher did win, I think, pitcher of the week for softball this week. So should be tough going up against the Wolfpack this week, especially at their place. So this is where the games get important, and try to get the good positioning for the conference championship, and just making sure we're putting a good team out there. So we'll see kind of where we're standing by the end of this week.
Andy says better have the sinker ball going in Reno, that's for sure. Bulldogs Bob, UNLV New Mexico final score 30-15 in baseball game. Holy smokes. And Teddy did. Yes, I saw the interview. Teddy said he was fine on Bulldog Insider. And I know Bob brings that up because we've talked about that multiple times and Teddy's health. So I'm happy to hear Coach Tedford's doing good and he's ready to go. That's encouraging. I'm really excited about this football team. I saw a bunch of talk on X about Mikey Keene. His name's starting to come up for top G5 quarterbacks in the country, which I think rightfully so. And I think whoever's playing quarterback at Fresno State should always be considered as one of the top quarterbacks in the G5, especially when Teddy is coaching. So I'm looking forward to this year, and I'm looking forward to Mikey Keene. We're going to save all that talk for later, though, because I know we're going to have plenty to talk about when it gets near to football season. So I'm excited, though. April 27th, spring preview. We will definitely be there. We don't miss that. And the softball game afterwards. And then if you're listening the day after, reminder, we are on YouTube. Beware of Bulldogs. Subscribe, like, comment, hop in the chat when we go live Mondays at 7 p.m. Join us here. We have a good time. But we're on X, beware_Bulldogs. There was one thing I was going to say. Oh, just go back and listen to it through, and we say the dates when all the games are. So if you need a reminder of when the games are, there it is. Or you can head over to gobulldogs.com. They got them all there. Anything else, Caleb, that we need to touch on?
Just about covers it for this week in Fresno State athletics. So big bat and ball series this week, conference play, and water polo is chugging along, and we'll see. Maybe basketball will shock us. What they play on Wednesday, right? Against Wyoming. Yes, I think we said when that game is. It's Wednesday morning, so we'll know pretty early whether this team's moving on or not.
Yeah, I will be watching from my office, so hopefully it goes better than the last game. This keep my expectations low, be pleasantly surprised. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in and supporting us. We would really appreciate it. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. We'll see you at the next Fresno State event. And as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.